This seat's for close family, my sister Tina said while shoving me aside. I snapped, then let your real family pay the damn $4,700 bill. I walked out and left them to rot in their own mess. The venue coordinator was holding a clipboard. That's what I remember focusing on when everything fell apart, this woman in a black pantsuit with a laminated seating chart, pointing at a table near the back of the reception hall while my sister physically pushed me away from the family table. This seat's for close family, Tina said. Not quiet. Not apologetic. Loud enough that people at 3 neighboring tables turned to look. I was holding a glass of champagne I'd just picked up from the bar. Wearing the bridesmaid dress she'd chosen, pale pink, empire waist, cost me $400 plus alterations. I'd flown in from Seattle 2 days earlier. Taken a week off work. Paid for my hotel room because the bridal party suite was full. I'm close family, I said. Trying to keep my voice level. Professional. I'm your sister. Half-sister, she said it like correcting a factual error. This table is for my real family. Dad, Mom, my bridesmaids. People who've actually been there for me. The venue coordinator shifted uncomfortably. Perhaps we could. It's fine, Tina cut her off. Casey understands. Don't you, Casey? I looked at the family table. 8 seats. Dad was already sitting there, looking at his phone. My stepmother Linda was adjusting her fascinator. 3 of Tina's college friends, the bridesmaids who'd gotten the suite, the mimosa brunch, the matching robes for photos. 2 empty seats remained. One had a place card with my name on it. Tina was physically removing it. Handing it to the coordinator. Put her at table 12. With the co-workers. Table 12. I could see it from here. Back corner. Near the kitchen doors. The table for people you're obligated to invite but don't actually want at your wedding. Tina, I said. Voice very quiet now. I paid for the rehearsal dinner. I know. Thank you. That was generous. $4,700. She blinked. I didn't ask you to spend that much. You picked the restaurant. You invited 60 people. You chose the prix menu in the open bar. Well, you offered to host it. Because you said you didn't have the budget. Because Dad said the bride's family traditionally pays for the rehearsal dinner and he couldn't afford it this year. Linda's head snapped up from her fascinator. Dad was suddenly very interested in our conversation. That was very kind of you, Tina said. Her voice had that careful quality it gets when she knows she's being unreasonable but won't back down. But I don't see what that has to do with the seating arrangement. Right. I set down my champagne. Carefully. On the table. It doesn't have anything to do with it. Because I'm not close family. Casey, the people at this table are close family. The people who matter. The people who've been there for you. I looked at Dad. He was staring at his phone again. Dad, how much did you contribute to the wedding? His face went red. This isn't the time, just curious. Because I paid for the rehearsal dinner. $4,700. Plus I'm wearing a $400 dress. Plus hotel. Plus flights. Plus I used my vacation days to be here all week helping with last-minute details. Nobody asked you to do all that, Tina said. You're right. Nobody asked. I volunteered. Because I thought I was close family. The coordinator was backing away slowly. Smart woman. You're making a scene, Linda said. First words she'd spoken to me all day. Yeah. I am. I picked up the place card with my name on it. The one Tina had removed from the family table. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to leave now. And when the venue coordinator asks who's paying the final bill, the one that includes last night's $4,700 rehearsal dinner that I put on my credit card, you're going to tell her to charge it to close family only. Dad stood up. Casey. Don't be dramatic. I'm not being dramatic. I'm being accurate. Table 12 is for co-workers. People you don't really care about but have to invite. I'm being seated at table 12. Therefore, I'm a co-worker. Co-workers don't pay $4,700 for family events. You're overreacting. Then let your real family pay the bill. I walked out. Down the hallway. Past the ceremony room. Past the bridal suite where I'd spent the morning helping Tina into her dress. Past the coordinator, who was suddenly very interested in her clipboard. I made it to my rental car before my hands started shaking. Sat there for a minute. Then I pulled out my phone and called my credit card company. Hi, I need to dispute a charge that's about to post to my account. They transferred me. I explained the situation, briefly, professionally. Authorized a charge for an event, circumstances changed, need to dispute. The charge is already pending, ma'am. It'll post tomorrow. But you can file a dispute after it posts and we'll investigate. How long does that take? 30 to 60 days typically. And in the meantime, the charge will remain on your account until the dispute is resolved. I thanked her and hung up. Then I called the venue. Hi, this is Casey Morrison. I provided my credit card for last night's rehearsal dinner, but I need to speak to someone about payment. They transferred me. Professional. Efficient. A man named Derek from the Lakeside Event Center. Yes, Ms. Morrison. How can I help you? The charge for last night's dinner is on my credit card. I'm going to be disputing it when it posts. I wanted to give you advance notice so you can collect payment from the actual client, Tina Morrison. Long pause. I'm sorry, what? I'm disputing the charge. Tina signed your contract. She's responsible for payment. I'm just letting you know so you're not surprised when the dispute comes through. Ms. Morrison, you authorized the charge, and I'm unauthorizing it. You have my notice. I suggest you contact Tina Morrison or Douglas Morrison for alternative payment before the charge posts and I dispute it. But the event already happened. We can't just. I understand this is inconvenient. But I'm not paying for it. You should probably figure out payment with your actual client. I hung up. Drove to the airport. Changed my flight. Got on a plane. When I landed in Seattle and turned my phone back on, the messages started flooding in. Dad. Ignored it. Tina. Ignored it. Linda. Ignored it. Text messages poured in. Dad, Casey, what the hell did you do? Tina, the venue just called saying you canceled payment for the rehearsal dinner? Linda, this is incredibly immature. Dad, call me immediately. Tina, you're ruining my wedding. I turned off my phone. Boarded my flight. Update 1. I turned my phone back on when I landed in Seattle. 43 missed calls. 67 text messages. 14 voicemails. I listened to the first voicemail. Dad. Casey, I don't know what you think you're accomplishing, but you need to fix this right now. The venue is threatening to call the police. You can't just refuse to pay for something after it's already happened. That's theft of services. Call me back. Deleted it. Second voicemail. Tina. Crying. How could you do this to me? On my wedding day? Everyone is asking where you went, and now the venue is saying you're going to dispute the charge for last night and they need Dad to pay it today or they'll send it to collections, and we don't have $5,000 just sitting around. You knew that. That's why you offered to pay for it in the first place. You're destroying the happiest day of my life. Deleted it. Third voicemail. Derek from the venue. Ms. Morrison, this is Derek from Lakeside Event Center. We've spoken to Ms. Tina Morrison about alternative payment for last night's dinner service. She's indicated that she doesn't have the funds available today. We need to resolve this before we can proceed with tonight's reception service. Please call me back as soon as possible. I called back. Derek answered. Hi Derek, this is Casey Morrison returning your call. Oh, thank God. Ms. Morrison, there seems to be some confusion about payment. No confusion. I sent an email withdrawing my payment authorization. I'm not paying for that event. But you signed the contract, did I? Can you send me a copy of that contract with my signature on it? Pause. Well, the contract was signed by Tina Morrison. But you provided the credit card, which I've now withdrawn. I'm not the client. Tina is. She signed the contract. She's responsible for payment. But she's saying she can't pay. That sounds like a problem between you and her. Not between you and me. Ms. Morrison, if we don't receive payment today, we're going to have to shut down the reception. Then I guess you should talk to Tina about payment. She's saying you promised to pay for it. I did promise. Then she told me I wasn't close family and assigned me to the coworkers table. Coworkers don't pay $4,700 for family events. I'm sure you understand. Silence. So, you're refusing to pay? I'm declining to pay for an event hosted by people who don't consider me family. Yes. I need to speak with my manager. You do that. I hung up. Went home. Unpacked. Fed my cat. Made dinner. Tried to pretend my hands weren't shaking. My phone rang again. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Casey, it's Rachel. Rachel. My stepmother Linda's sister. I'd met her twice. Hi Rachel. I'm at the wedding. Casey, what's going on? Linda asked me to call you, did she? She says you're refusing to pay for the rehearsal dinner and the venue is threatening to shut everything down. Is that true? Yes. Casey. Her voice was gentle. Patient. The voice you use with children having tantrums. I know Tina can be difficult. And I know the seating thing was hurtful. But this is her wedding day. Can you really do this to her? Can I refuse to pay for an event she doesn't want me at? Yes. Turns out I can. But everyone is, people are talking. The venue coordinator is having whispered conversations with your dad. Tina's crying. The photographer doesn't know whether to keep shooting. It's a disaster. Sounds stressful. Casey, Rachel, I flew across the country. Used my vacation days. Spent hundreds of dollars on dresses and hotels and helping with wedding prep. And when I showed up, my sister physically pushed me away from the family table and told me I'm not close family. So I'm treating myself accordingly. Close family pays for weddings. Coworkers get a card from Hallmark. You're being petty. I'm being consistent. Casey, please. Just authorize the payment and you can sort this out with Tina later. No. People are going to remember this. You're going to be the person who ruined her sister's wedding, half-sister. And I'm the person who got pushed to the coworkers' table after paying $4,700 for her rehearsal dinner. People can remember whatever they want. I hung up. Blocked her number. Blocked Dad's number. Blocked Linda's number. Blocked Tina's number. Sat on my couch with my cat and tried to decide if I felt guilty. I didn't. Final update. 3 hours after I hung up on Rachel, my phone rang. A Seattle number I didn't recognize. I answered. Hello? Casey? It's Marcus. Marcus. Dad's brother. The only person on that side of the family I actually liked. Hey Marcus. I'm not at the wedding. I couldn't make it, work thing. But Linda just called me. Gave me some story about you walking out and refusing to pay for the rehearsal dinner? That's accurate. Want to tell me your side? So I did. The whole thing. The dress. The flights. The week of helping. The $4,700. The family table. The seats for close family. Table 12 with the coworkers. Marcus was quiet for a long time. Jesus, he said finally. Yeah. So what happened? At the wedding? No idea. I left. You don't know if they paid? If the venue shut down the reception? Nope. Don't care either. He laughed. Sharp and surprised. Good for you. You think I'm being petty. I think you're being honest. There's a difference. He paused. For what it's worth, Doug called me too. Wanted me to call you. Convince you to pay. What did you tell him? I told him he raised one daughter who knows her worth and one who doesn't. And that's not your problem to fix. Something in my chest loosened. Thanks. You doing okay? I think so. Ask me tomorrow. Okay. Call me if you need anything. I mean it. I will. We hung up. I sat there for a minute. Then I unblocked Dad's number. Not to call him. Just to see what he'd sent. 17 text messages. All variations of the same thing. The venue made us pay. Had to put it on Linda's credit card. Do you have any idea what you've done? Tina was devastated. The reception almost didn't happen. Everyone knows what you did. You'll regret this. Don't bother coming to family events anymore. I read them all. Then I typed, I won't. Thanks for the permission. Blocked him again. That was 6 months ago. I haven't spoken to Dad, Linda, or Tina since. Haven't been invited to family events, not that I'd go. Haven't received any apology, any explanation, any acknowledgement that maybe, possibly, seating me at table 12 after I paid for the rehearsal dinner was messed up. I did get one email. About 2 weeks after the wedding. From Tina. Subject line, we need to talk. I almost deleted it without reading. But curiosity won. Casey, I think enough time has passed that we can discuss what happened at my wedding like adults. I understand you were hurt by the seating arrangement. I should have communicated better about the family table limitations. However, your reaction was completely disproportionate and caused serious damage, financially and emotionally. Linda had to max out her credit card to cover the rehearsal dinner you promised to pay for. The venue nearly shut down my reception. My wedding photos show me crying because I was so stressed about whether we'd even get to have dinner. You embarrassed our entire family in front of 150 guests. I think you owe me an apology. And honestly, I think you should reimburse Dad and Linda for what they had to cover. It's the right thing to do. Let me know when you're ready to make this right. Tina. I read it 3 times. Then I replied, Tina, you're right that we should discuss this like adults. Here's the adult version. You accepted my offer to pay for your rehearsal dinner. I spent $4,700 on an event you planned. I flew across the country, took time off work, and spent hundreds more on bridesmaid expenses. When I arrived at your wedding, you physically pushed me away from the family table and told me I wasn't close family. You seated me at the table for coworkers. So I treated myself accordingly, like someone you work with but don't actually care about. Coworkers don't pay $4,700 for family events. You're right that I should have communicated better. Here's me communicating clearly. I don't owe you an apology. I don't owe you money. And I don't owe you a relationship. Don't contact me again. Casey. She never responded. Marcus calls every few weeks. Keeps me updated on family gossip without asking me to reconcile. Tina and her husband are fighting a lot. Money problems. Linda's mad because Doug won't talk about what happened at the wedding. Your dad asked about you. I told him you were doing great and didn't ask about him. About 4 months after the wedding, Marcus called with an interesting update. So I heard something through the family grapevine. Thought you'd want to know. What? Apparently several people who were at Tina's wedding have been asking what happened. The full story. And? Word got around. About the seating chart. About you paying for the rehearsal dinner. About the close family-only comment. He paused. Some of Tina's friends aren't talking to her anymore. What? Yeah. Apparently 2 of her bridesmaids, the ones who were at the family table, thought the whole thing was messed up. They asked Tina about it afterward and she gave them some story about you causing drama over nothing. But someone, I don't know who, told them the actual story. That you'd paid nearly $5,000 and got pushed to the back of the room. Huh? One of them posted something on social media. Didn't name names, but it was pretty obvious. Something about watching people treat their family like ATMs and then wondering why they get cut off. Got a lot of engagement. I didn't know what to say to that. Anyway, Marcus continued, I just thought you should know. You're not the villain in this story. Not to the people who matter. Thanks, Marcus. Anytime, kid. Last week, Marcus called with news. Doug and Linda are having financial trouble. Credit card debt from the wedding. They're asking family members for loans. Okay. They asked me for $15,000. 15? The bill was less than 5. Wedding bills add up. Tina apparently put a bunch of other last-minute expenses on their cards too. Flowers, photographer upgrades, extra bar service. They're underwater. What did you say? I said no. Told Doug that if he'd managed his money better, he wouldn't be in this position. Marcus paused. He said it's because of the wedding. That they had to put the rehearsal dinner on Linda's card and it buried them. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. That's not my problem. I know. I told him that too. Told him he created this situation by treating you like shit. Did he? Did he say anything? About that? He said you overreacted. That you threw a tantrum over a seating arrangement. Right. Casey. Yeah? You didn't overreact. You set a boundary. There's a difference. I know. Do you? Because you sound like you're second-guessing yourself. I thought about it. About the family table. About close family only. About $4,700. About table 12. No, I said. I'm not second-guessing myself. I'm just tired. That's fair. A few days after that call, I got a Facebook message. From someone named Jessica. Profile picture showed a woman about my age, blonde, smiling. Hi Casey, you don't know me, but I was one of Tina's bridesmaids. I was at the family table at the wedding. I only recently found out the real story of what happened. A mutual friend told me you'd paid for the rehearsal dinner and then Tina excluded you from the family table. I'm horrified. If I'd known any of this at the wedding, I would have given up my seat in a heartbeat. What she did was cruel and I'm so sorry I didn't realize what was happening in the moment. I just thought you'd had to leave early for some reason. I wanted you to know that not everyone there agreed with how you were treated. Jessica. I stared at that message for a long time. Then I replied, Jessica, thank you for reaching out. I appreciate you saying that. For what it's worth, I don't blame you or the other bridesmaids. You didn't know what was going on. Tina made those choices, not you. I hope you're doing well. Casey. She wrote back almost immediately, I'm glad you're not mad at me. For what it's worth, several of us have distanced ourselves from Tina since then. What she did was inexcusable. Take care of yourself. Last month, I got a wedding invitation in the mail. Cousin on mom's side, my biological mom who died when I was 7. The family I actually grew up with before Dad remarried. The invitation included a note, heard what happened at Tina's wedding. Just want you to know you're seated at the family table. Because you are family. I cried reading that. I called my cousin Sarah, the bride, to thank her. Casey. I'm so glad you called. Did you get the invitation? I did. Thank you for the note. That means more than you know. Of course. I heard what Tina did and I was furious. Mom told me the whole story. I can't believe, well, actually, I can believe it. Tina always was kind of self-centered. But still. You paid for her rehearsal dinner and she treated you like that? Yeah. I'm sorry that happened to you. And I'm sorry it took me this long to reach out. I should have called sooner. You didn't have to call at all? Yes, I did. Your family. Real family. The kind who shows up and helps and doesn't keep score. She paused. Well, until someone pushes you to the coworker's table, apparently. I laughed despite myself. Yeah. That was my limit. As it should be. Anyway, I wanted you to know, you're sitting with Mom and me and Aunt Patricia at the family table. Front and center. And if anyone has a problem with it, they can sit at table 12. Sarah, I'm serious. You're wanted here. You're valued here. And I'm really glad you're coming. We talked for another 20 minutes. About her wedding plans, about her fiancé, about life in general. It felt easy. Natural. Like family is supposed to feel. When we hung up, I felt lighter than I had in months. Yesterday, I got another email. From Dad this time. Subject line, can we talk? I should have deleted it. But I opened it. Casey, it's been 6 months. I think that's long enough for everyone to cool down. I'd like to talk about what happened at Tina's wedding. I understand you felt hurt by the seating situation, but I think we all overreacted in the moment. Linda is still struggling with the credit card debt from the rehearsal dinner. It's put a real strain on our finances and our marriage. I'm not asking you to pay us back, though that would certainly help, but I think we should at least discuss how to move forward as a family. Tina misses you. She won't say it, but I can tell. And I miss you too. You're my daughter. Can we please just talk? Dad, I read it twice. Then I wrote back, Dad, I'm not interested in discussing how to move forward as a family with people who don't consider me family. Tina made that very clear at her wedding. You made that clear by not defending me when she pushed me away from the family table. The financial strain you're experiencing is a direct result of your choice to cover a bill that Tina incurred. That's not my problem to solve. I've moved on. I suggest you do the same. Casey. I hesitated before sending it. Thought about softening it. Adding something about maybe talking in the future, leaving the door open. Then I remembered standing in that reception hall holding a champagne glass, watching my sister remove my place card from the family table. This seat's for close family. I hit send. I'm going to that wedding next month. Already bought my dress, nothing pink. Already booked my flight. Already marked my calendar. And I'm going to sit at the family table. Because some people know the difference between half-siblings and real family. And real family doesn't make you pay for the privilege of being pushed aside.